Hello, and welcome to the Friday Night Author Roundtable. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and during the next half hour, we'll be speaking with several very talented authors about their newly released books, what their inspiration was for creating their unique stories. Next book on the Friday Night Author Roundtable, a really interesting book that I'm really excited to find out more about. Of course, you can't turn on the news without stories of bigotry and brutality, and it's a sad state that we're in this day and age. But I think this next book kind of delves into that. The book is called Brutality: The Third Eye by author Candace Phillips-Anderson from Fulton Books. Candace, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Chris.
Now, tell everybody a little bit about your book.
My book is about an African-American man named Terrence Burton. He and his family visited his family, and they were having such a great time. At this time, for Terrence and his family to leave, after the departure, he travels down this long country road. The family was stopped by two bigoted police officers whose goal is to make their quota by killing a person of another color. Therefore, Terrence is brutally beaten and left for dead, and his family is tormented in the worst way. Lastly, Terrence Burton, he goes for the revenge. He has a gift called the Third Eye. It's a generational gift. Some would call it a curse. But ruthlessly, Terrence vows to wreak havoc on everyone who's involved.
Now, what inspired you to write this book? Where did this all kind of come from?
Well, in general, the ongoing years of this sheltered-like society, which clearly is biased, but chooses to wear a mask. The dishonorable and the undignified acts of the men and women dressed in blue who swore to protect and to serve, but instead some traded in their white hoods and robes for a blue uniform or a similar color. Cell phones recordings are telling the truth, but to some, they will not acknowledge that there's a problem called hate and racism, and that's really a shame.
Now, if you're looking at a target audience, who's the reader that you really want to see this book get into the hands of?
Everyone who wants to see justice. So I would like for this to be targeted to everyone because everyone has something that they can learn from this experience.
Now, have you thought about writing anything new, or are you working on anything?
Oh, yes, I'm definitely working on a sequel to this particular book in question.
Oh, excellent. Well, we hope we get a chance to talk about that down the road. Now this book, Brutality: The Third Eye, when people read this, what do you hope is the most important message that readers get from this book?
Wonderful question. I would say accountability. Love is what brought this family together, and that's what they had to offer before the worst nightmare came to pass. Corrupt cops. Understand, not all people that carry guns and badges are corrupt. However, the ones that are, it's our duty as a society to see that they are held accountable for their actions. From the ones that call the police on an 8-year-old child for selling bottled water to the ones who are coward enough to body slam a teenage little girl onto the concrete or shoot a person in the back and kill them in cold blood. Or get this, the ones that would choke and kill a black man for selling CDs to the ones who would kindly carry a Caucasian man that just shot up a church to Burger King for lunch. It's time to stop the ignorance, most importantly. It's about putting an end to this cruel disease called hate. Chris, honestly, hate stinks. It sucks. It sucks the life out of men, women, boys, and girls of color.
It's a sad thing in this world that there is such hate and bigotry and racism, but I think, I think it takes a book like this to really open people's eyes. The book is called Brutality: The Third Eye by author Candace Phillips-Anderson from Fulton Books. You can get your copy today at Amazon.com, iTunes, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Walmart, just a few of the sources online and as at the brick and mortar stores. And Candace, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Chris, for having us.
And why it would be a great book to read and share with your friends and family.